LiberalViewer presents.
So recently, a lot of viewers have sent me links to Fox News religion reporter Lauren Green's interview of Reza Aslan, which quickly went viral as possibly one of the worst, most embarrassing interviews of all time, but the interview was so bad on its face that I didn't think I could add much by making a video about it until I saw Fox News' defense of the interview in a segment introduced by supposedly straight news anchor Shannon Bream after showing the clip from the original interview here.
I want to clarify, you're a Muslim, so why did you write a book about the founder of Christianity?
Well, to be clear, I am a scholar of religions with 4 degrees, including one in the New Testament and fluency in biblical Greek, who has been studying the origins of Christianity for 2 decades, who also just happens to be a Muslim.
That question from Fox religion correspondent Lauren Green launched a series of attacks from liberal media outlets after her interview with the Muslim author Reza Aslan.
And now, notice how Shannon Bream claims there it was just that single question from religion correspondent Lauren Green that spawned attacks against her, when Green actually received valid criticism for asking that same basic question over and over again, eventually quoting from an editorial on the Fox News website by a Christian pastor who Green never identified as a Christian pastor, but who falsely accused Reza Aslan of being a secret Muslim, as you can see in this clip from the original interview.
I want to read you some quotes from some people who are criticizing you. One from John Dickerson, who has written an op-ed piece on FoxNews.com, and he says, it's not a historian's report on Jesus. Is it an educated Muslim's opinion about Jesus? He says its conclusions are long-held Islamic claims, namely that Jesus was a zealous prophet type who didn't claim to be God.
Well, that's actually not what Islam claims about Jesus. My book about Jesus overturns pretty much everything that Islam also thinks about Jesus as well. And to be clear, I just want to emphasize this one more time. I am a historian. I am a PhD in the history of religions. This isn't a Muslim opinion. This is an academic work of history, not about the Christ or about Christianity for that matter. It's about a historical man who walked the earth 2,000 years ago in a land that the Romans called Palestine.
How are your findings different from what Islam actually believes about Jesus?
Well, Islam doesn't believe that Jesus was crucified, first of all. Islam believes in the virgin birth. I mean, Jesus was most definitely crucified, and my book does question the historicity of the virgin birth. So again, I mean, I know that we've mentioned this 3 times now. I'm not sure what my faith happens to do with my 20 years of academic study of the New Testament.
So, like I said, Reza Aslan did a really good job of defending himself there, and as for the claim he's a secret Muslim, he pretty clearly refuted that accusation here.
I believe that you've been on several programs and never disclosed that you were a Muslim, and I think that's interesting full disclosure.
The second page of my book says I'm a Muslim. Every single interview I have ever done on TV or on print says I'm a Muslim. You may not be familiar with me, but I'm actually quite a prominent Muslim thinker in the United States. I've written a number of books about Islam. It's just simply incorrect to say that media isn't saying that I'm a Muslim.
So, again, Reza Aslan speaks very well in defense of himself there, so what was more worthy of comment was the Fox News defense of this interview, where Shannon Bream's claim that Lauren Green was attacked for asking a single question about Reza Aslan's religion was echoed by her guest, Brent Bozell, longtime purveyor of the liberal media myth at the Conservative Media Research Center, who defended Lauren Green's question like this.
It was the exact correct question that needed to be asked. Look, this man was a Christian who converted to Islam, and she had every right to ask him, she's asking him, in fact, do you have a bias? Are you being influenced by your faith to write what you're writing? He should have, first and foremost, said, yes, I am. To deny it shows the arrogance, and you saw his answer, just the aloof arrogance to how dare she even ask that question. Look, the fact of the matter is, the Muslim faith believes that Jesus Christ did not have a divine nature. They do not believe he was God. Therefore, if he is going to take the attitude, well, he's just a scholar, he just happens to be Muslim, that he really didn't care about this issue so much, he's not a very good Muslim.
And not only did Brent Bozell call Reza Aslan a bad Muslim there, What's really interesting about his defense of Lauren Green was his inability to even accept the distinction between religious belief and accurate history, which Brent Bozell made especially clear when giving his unbiased assessment of the historical accuracy of his own religious beliefs here.
This is something a Catholic I take great offense to. He said there's a very big difference between the historical Christ and what the Catholic Church has done to create a mythical Christ. No, there isn't.
And what's really behind this use of faith to prefer traditional myths over the facts that contradict them is a mindset that goes at least all the way back to the authors of the Christian Bible itself, as coincidentally Reza Aslan explained in a much better interview of him on NPR, which disclosed he was a Muslim, by the way, and where Reza Aslan explained that the story of Jesus being born in Bethlehem because Joseph had to return there for a Roman census contradicts what historians know about the Roman census, and more importantly, contradicts what the author of the book of Luke and his early readers knew. But as Reza Aslan explained,
here's the important thing, Terry, and this is the most important fact about the nativity stories that I want my readers to understand. Luke, the person who wrote this story, knew that what he was writing was technically false. Luke's readers, the people who read this story, the early Christian community, who were only a generation or two removed from the events that Luke is talking about, knew that this census never happened, that under Roman law no one had to go to the place of their father's birth to be counted. In other words, they understood that the facts of this story were incorrect, but they didn't care, because what we think about when we say history, or even what we think about when we say fact, would have made no sense to Luke's audience. For them, history was not a matter of uncovering verifiable facts. It was a matter of revealing truths. And the truth of this story, that Jesus was born in the town of David because he is of the seed of David, and that makes him the Messiah, the legitimate heir to the kingdom of David. The truth of that story was more important than the facts of it.
And that kind of mindset where faith-based truth is more important than actual facts seems to span from those early Christians to the right-wing Christians of today, especially on Fox News, and it reminded me of last year's debate between Jon Stewart and Fox News' top-rated pundit Bill O'Reilly, where Jon Stewart described that alternate reality mindset most memorably like this.
I call this alternate reality, I call this place where these folks live Bullshit Mountain. The denizens of Bullshit Mountain believe many things. They believe that a Kenyan Muslim president has fundamentally changed the relationship between government and the people of this country. On Bullshit Mountain, they believe that if they built it, it was because of their success and a little quick moxie and freedom juice. But if life hasn't worked out for them, it is the government on their back. Oh, Bullshit Mountain is a dangerous place. Not to mention the winters on Bullshit Mountain. Oh, the winters on Bullshit Mountain are long and cold. And Christmas, the most ubiquitous holiday in the history of mankind, is under threat on Bullshit Mountain because somewhere, somehow, a parade in Tulsa has changed its name from Christmas to holiday.
And I think that's the larger lesson in the way Fox News defended its interview of Reza Aslan. It's just another example in the litany of lies and distortion that they take as gospel over there in their alternate reality because of this mindset preferring faith over facts that literally goes back to the Gospels, I think. But I want to know what you think. Did Fox News' defense of its Reza Aslan interview show the fundamental preference for faith over facts that defines what Jon Stewart called Bullshit Mountain? And given that this mindset has lasted for thousands of years, how quickly, if at all, will things like facts, science, and the internet extinguish the alternate reality on Bullshit Mountain?
I YouTube, you decide.